Keyon's top stories. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, so Simple Stacker listened to Return of the Strong Gods, or read it. I'm not exactly sure, but they did a great book review of it. More or less talks about after the 2 world wars, we developed a point of view that the so-called strong gods, meaning religion, nationality, things that would kind of bind us together and make us feel like a unified tribe, cultural heritage, racial and ethnic solidarity, and family. Those are kind of that's what the author names as strong gods. We kind of disbanded them because we began to fear them, because we believe that they were the source. This is the theory of the author, that they were the source of the world wars. And that's why we're in a position today where we lack those things, and we are seeking, kind of false strong gods in populist politics and people like Donald Trump. And so that's the base. That's the gist of the theory. Is there was like a cultural movement, an intellectual driven cultural movement to disband the strong gods, and lacking strong gods, humans become weak and febile. And
what does febile mean? What's it
like another word for weak? I'm just trying basically
feeble. You mean
feeble? But I think you can pronounce it either way. Maybe not. But yeah.
So what is this about then? It's just an opinion piece?
It's explaining the author's theory about why we're in the position that we're in, why we're in a populist political atmosphere, why we feel culturally
are we
disenchanted.
Are we in a populist?
Yeah.
I feel like we're in a corrupt political atmosphere.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are compatible. But like, it's basically, he's explaining his theory as to why we're in the position that we're in culturally, why we're not what we think of ourselves as once being, which is unified, happy to be American. I mean, there was a Gallup poll that I shared today that I think was recently released, where most Americans aren't happy about their lives. I think it's 44% of Americans are happy about their lives. Don't quote me on that.
Wow.
But I think
really,
yeah. And just a few years ago, I think 2020, it was at 65%. So something's going on culturally.
I'm definitely more happy about being Texan than I am American, to be honest. But I've always been that way, though. I think that's just the way we were raised in Texas.
Yeah. So you've maintained a strong God, is what the author would argue. One of your strong gods is
a Texas God. You mean?
Yeah, Texas. You have a sort of, it's not a nationality, but I don't know what you'd call that.
I mean, because we're force fed Texas
propaganda.
History, propaganda. You're the best. We're the best. Texas-sized stuff in Texas. We're always going to be the best. That kind of thing. Best state, everything. And then you grow up and you still are the best. And then you see it with your eyes. And then now, like, everybody's moving to Texas because we are the best. So it's like even more solidified.
Yeah, maybe they're looking for, maybe Texas maintains some degree of nationality, even though it's just a state, while everywhere else is like,
sucks.
Yeah, we aren't, don't take pride in where you're from. Don't take pride in this state.
I feel like California was one of those growing up where I was like, oh, that looks like a cool state to live in. And then nowadays, I don't see that anymore with California. New York was one of those places too, where when I was growing up, people would be like, "Oh, that looks like that's a place people were proud to," and I don't see that anymore. Like,
right.
They're kind of ashamed. Where else? Yeah, those are the other two states that I remember growing up when people would say like,
"That's interesting."
Yeah, even me when I was growing up and people would say, "Oh, I'm from New York," I'd be like, "Whoa, tell me about that place," you know?
Yeah.
But other than those two states, I don't know. Being from Texas, I don't know of other states where I would be. Oh, Hawaii, maybe people would be like, "Oh, I'm from Hawaii."
Yeah, but
what about for you? Because you grew up in California. Like, do you notice that shift somewhere along the way?
Because
I definitely did notice that when at my young age. Because like in the 90s for sure, California was popping.
Yeah, I think there is some sense that even if you love California, you love New York, part of that tribe, being in the tribe that loves California or loves New York, part of that is you can't take too much pride in being from California or New York. It's kind of a weird thing. Yeah, that's
really?
like, yeah, it's like they're kind of at weird odds, and that's I think what the author is getting to is like you're forced to think to kind of contradict yourself because it's just we've been conditioned or taught or that believing like I'm from California and California is the best place on earth is dangerous because it leads to movements like the Nazi movement and stuff.
Really?
To have really strong feelings, really strong beliefs about your connection, your connection to a place
That's
or
wild.
people or beliefs.
That's so wild.
Yeah, but that's kind of his argument. It's like we tried to make people less passionate and less worshiping.
Yeah, that's wild. Maybe that's why Texas feels so much more unified. Because like you'll run into people in different parts of Texas. You're like, oh, you're from the Panhandle, or oh, you're from Houston, oh, you're from Dallas or whatever. Like we don't really drop shade anywhere, if that makes any sense. You know?
Yeah, you believe.
Yeah,
everyone
like
in
I wouldn't
Texas
live
is an
in
equal.
Houston or these other places, but
Yeah.
I'm like I don't drop shade at these places.
Yeah, you wouldn't call those people dirty or something like
No,
that.
I would never.
Yeah.
Interesting. Dang. So are you proud to be an American, Keyan?
I like America.
Proud to be an American.
I don't know. We went out to beers like a few years ago with a guy
Coasting
who said he's like 5 generations have lived in Texas here, and they have property on property, and he seemed like a really interesting guy. And he's like, well, if America tries to take Texas, are you standing your ground with me? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I was like, I don't have property here. I'm like, America is an idea to me. Like, it's not a piece of land. I don't have anything here. America gave me freedom, and again, it's the ideas. But I'm not going to put my life on the line for you, guy, who has that heritage that I lack. I'm paying taxes. And I'm doing my part while I'm here. But I'm not going to die for America. I'm not going to die for other people who don't care if I die.
In the JFK movie, they talk about they said after JFK got assassinated, that was the turning point for America.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that is like
that was when everything
pretty
changed.
firmly after the Second World War.
Like that was the cost. That was what it cost.
Was the downfall of America.
That was the patriotism. That was that was
patriotism.
what it cost. Like you killed JFK and then you killed his brother, but this is what it cost you.
Well, I think the author might make the argument that JFK was maybe sort of a representative for the strong God tribe, and he was helping people form a national identity, a national association, because they liked him a lot, and that he might while he was like preventing us from going to several wars, and maybe later. It would manifest, all of our passion and our love of America would manifest in a great war.
Well, in the movie, they were saying that he was for peace. I don't know. I wasn't around. I don't know. Maybe somebody smarter than me can talk about this. I need to stay in my lane. But in the movie, they were saying that he was for peace and stuff. But they said that they were actually going to go to. There's another movie they had recommended called 13 Days, and they were saying that the Bay of Pigs or whatever, they were going to. There was actually a threat of nuclear war with the Soviet Union, at the time, and he actually, no one knows this, but he actually de-escalated that, and but at the military-industrial complex wanted it to happen because I don't remember. This is all just me learning it through don't trust this, but it was they were saying that. The way they were looking at it at the time was they'd much rather wanted to get it over with because it would lead America in a way where at that time we had I don't know if we had more nukes than the Soviet Union, but we were in a much better place where if we would have taken care of them at that time, then we would have, I don't know, something like that. There was some strategic advantage at the time where if we would have acted on it. Anyways, but you should check out that movie. It's really good.